Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope that you are all good. In today's video we are doing this snowflake set of nails, and this design was for this Friday's Charlie's Nail Art collaboration. This week I got to pick the theme and I went for snowflakes because I wanted this to be my last winter design before I start on Valentine's content. So I do hope you all enjoy watching, and if you would like to take part in the Charlie's Nail Art collabs, I will leave all of the information in the description box below. But basically every Friday there is a new collab and there is a new theme, and the only rule is that you use at least one product from Charlie's Nail Art. So it's really fun. It's a great way to push yourself and maybe try designs that you wouldn't normally try, and yeah, it's just something fun to get involved in. If you would also like to shop at Charlie's Nail Art, I will leave a link to her website in the description box below. As you probably know if you watch my channel, I use lots of products from her. She's one of my go-to places, especially for my glitters, and as an ambassador I do have a discount code which I'll also leave below, which gets you 10% off. So let's jump into the video. I have already done 2 coats of this, or I'm doing the second coat now of this gorgeous colour from Kiki London. This one is called Olive Mint and I love it. It's kind of like a muted minty sage green shade. It's really pretty, and I kind of love it for a winter transitioning into spring shade. It's just really pretty, so I thought I would use it in today's set, and I love it because it pairs really nicely with both silver and gold, and we're going to be doing a lot of silver nail art in today's set, so it was one of the reasons why I chose this colour. It applies absolutely beautifully, as I say about all of the Kiki London colours, and I'm going to cure each coat for 30 seconds. I do also have a discount code for Kiki London, so I'll leave that in the description box below as well, along with a list of all the products I've used. So now on the design we're going to be applying some full cover foils. So I'm going to come in with my Kiki London foil gel, and we're going to be applying this foil to the entire nail. So I want to make sure that I'm getting that foil gel over the entire nail. So you want to make sure that you're getting it all over the surface of the nail, but you also want to make sure that you're really concentrating it down the side walls and along the free edge of the nail. You also want to make sure that you're getting a nice smooth even application, so I do like to smooth over it a few times. And then the foil I'm going to be using is the blue marble quartz foil, which of course is from Charlie's. So I've cut a piece out, and then I like to, after curing my foil gel, place it straight down on focusing on the center of the nail. You can see that as soon as this hits the foil it starts transferring, so you can see it coming off of that clear backing sheet that the foil is printed on. So I like to smooth it out first of all with my thumb and fingers to make good contact, and then I'm going to come in with my silicone tool and just really rub this over just to get out any creases. So you can see here I'm just pushing out those creases, and I find that this is a lot easier to do with the silicone tool. And then I'm going to slowly start peeling off the foil. Now I peel it off slowly just in case any areas haven't transferred. I can then lay it back down and re-peel, but just look how good this foil has transferred. And another thing that I always like to do is whatever full cover foil I'm using, I like to try and use a gel polish colour that matches. And this way, by using a similar colour gel polish underneath your foil, if you did have any tiny imperfections where your foil didn't transfer properly, you're not going to notice them as much because you've got a very similar shade of gel polish underneath. Now on the next nail, I'm going to be applying foils again, but only to half of the nail. So I did wipe off the tacky layer using an alcohol pad just to make sure that my foil is only going to adhere to where we apply that foil gel to. And then I'm going to take my Kiki London stripe liner brush and just apply my foil gel halfway on down the nail. So I just want the foil gel on one side of the nail. So I come in with my stripe liner brush to begin with just to create a nice sort of guideline, and then I'm going to come in with my brush and fill that in. curing that for 30 seconds, and then we're going to apply our foil exactly the same as before. So I'm placing it down with my thumb and fingers, giving it a good rub so it makes really good contact with that foil gel, and then I swap to my silicone tool to get out any creases. I just find this works best using a combination of both my thumb and fingers and my silicone tool. With your thumb and fingers, you can kind of, especially around the edges of the nail, so like the free edge of the nail, you can really make sure you're rubbing to get good contact and good transfer. But then I also like to use my silicone tool because I find that a lot easier to get out any creases. Again, I'm just going to press down any areas that haven't fully transferred, but I do find with the Kiki London foil gel, I get 99% coverage majority of the time. So as you can see here, a tiny bit of foil did transfer still on to the other side of the nail. So I'm just taking a little bit of alcohol on a alcohol pad, and then I'm just wiping this off. You can also want to use acetone, but you want to be careful if you're using acetone because it could break down your gel polish. Now on this design, I want to add some of these large silver snowflake sequins, and I was just trying to show you guys here, these are super thin. They're not like regular glitter shapes, they're a lot thinner, so they're great for encapsulating in a gel polish, even though they are on the larger side. But I'm not going to be using full snowflakes, so that didn't matter too much. Again, these are from Charlie's. So I'm going to pop down a layer of top coat to begin with, and then I'm going to take my little snowflakes, I'm just going to pick one up using some tweezers, and I'm going to cut these in half because I want them just to go on the half of the nail where we don't have the foil. So I'm just cutting them in half, and then I'm going to place them down into that top coat, and then I'm just going to nudge them into place, and then I'm going to come in with my stripe liner brush and just make sure that that top coat is really going around the edges of those snowflakes. I'm taking my time to kind of press them down into the top coat. Like I said, they are fairly thin, but of course we are working with gel polish, so we want to make sure we're getting everything lying as flat as possible. We are going to semi-encapsulate these in with a rubber top coat, but I still want to do my best to get them laying as flat as possible, especially where we're working on the apex part of the nail, so there is a little bit of a curve to that nail, so they're not lying on a flat surface. You might find the edges will stick up a little bit, so I'm just going to take that top coat on my brush and help to stick those down. And then once I'm happy with how well they're positioned, I'm going to pop that in to cure for 30 seconds. This is going to then stick them into place on the nail. I really love these snowflakes. I was going to say stars. I really love these snowflakes, but a lot of the time I do use them more in acrylics, but because they are thin, it is possible to use them in your gel polish sets. Then I'm going to come in and I'm going to top coat using my no wipe rubber top coat. So like I said, this is to encapsulate them. Now the rubber top coat is slightly thicker than your regular top coat, so it's brilliant for encapsulating any kind of nail art. So I'm going to apply a layer of this, hold it upside down just to help that pool around the snowflakes. And then once that had cured, I'm going to take my Kiki London buffer and buff over the entire nail. This is going to then buff off any teeny tiny parts of the snowflake that are sticking up. I didn't necessarily find that I had any areas that were sticking up as such, but it did create a little bit of a raised effect. So where we've popped down the rubber top coat, they are fully sealed in. It means I can buff them to get a super smooth surface without ending up with a thick or bulky nail. Then I'm going to wipe away the dust with a little bit of alcohol, and we're going to finish off this nail with some of the new Kiki London Nail Art line stickers or line art stickers. So these are brilliant. If you don't like classic striping tape, then I would highly recommend giving these a go. They're a lot easier to work with than the regular striping tape. I'm sure you would have seen these. So I'm going to just peel these off very carefully using my tweezers. You want to avoid touching the sticky side with your fingers, just because the oils from your fingers can transfer to the stickiness and reduce the effectiveness of how well that will stick. So I am wearing gloves, which makes it a little bit easier anyway, but I always like to try and just keep hold of the line art stickers with my tweezers. So I'm just going to place these down. Now the great thing about these is if you do place them down incorrectly, they do have a good enough adhesion that you're able to pull them up and reline them up or replace them down. They don't seem to lose any stickiness. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of faffing around until I'm happy that this is as straight as possible. And then once I am happy with where it's positioned, I'm just going to come over with my silicone tool and give it a good rub to make sure that it's got good contact with the nail. We're then going to trim and buff off the edges just to make sure that there's nothing overhanging, so that when we do our final coat of top coat, everything is sealed in. And that's this nail finished. I do want to take a moment to apologise for the groggy voice. I have had a cold for most of this week, or it started on Monday and it's only Thursday, so not most of this week. But I wanted to actually have this video up on my channel Tuesday, so that if any of you guys wanted to take part in the snowflake theme, you could watch the video and then take part in the Valentines Nail Art collab. But I just had no voice Tuesday. Thankfully it started to come back yesterday, but I didn't feel up to doing a voiceover yesterday, so I thought I would leave it until today. But I do probably still sound a bit groggy, and I hate doing voiceovers. I don't like the sound of my voice anyway, so I hate doing voiceovers when I know I don't sound 100%, but I really wanted to get the video up. On the next nail, we're going to come in with some silver leaf, which again is from Valentines Nail Art, and I'm just placing this down in the top right hand corner and the bottom left hand side of the nail. Now silver leaf is really fun. I love the effects you can create with it because it gives off that textured effect. So I've placed it down on the nail, and then I'm really rubbing it with my silicone tool. This is to make sure that it's going to stick down into that tacky inhibition layer from the gel polish, and it also disperses it around the edges a little as well. Then we're ready to do some snowflake stamping. So here I have the Christmas plate from Simply Polish, and we're going to use the snowflake images that we've got in the center of the plate here. I am also going to be using my Simply Polish stamper as well. I'm really loving this stamper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, on this design, I'm going to use my CJS white stamping polish. So I'm applying a generous amount to the image. I'm going to rock my stamper over the top just with a quick flick of the wrist, and then I'm going to take my lint roller and remove any excess that I don't want to transfer on to the nail. Then I'm going to line that snowflake up so it's over that silver leaf, give it a quick rock from side to side, and as you can see, it's transferred beautifully. I absolutely love stamping. I really want to kind of up my stamping game this year and try and do a lot more layered stamping. I'm not sure what it's called, but you know where you pick up the image and then you colour it in on the stamper? Is it reverse stamping? And then you place it down. I definitely want to do a lot more of that as well, but I do need to build up my stamping polish collection because I don't actually have too many stamping colours, because I find that I tend to use white and gold, sometimes black majority of the time. So we're done the same again and added in another snowflake over that silver leaf, and I really love the effect. I love layering stamping over different nail art mediums. On to the next nail, we're swapping to a clear jelly stamper Christmas plate, and we're going to do some layered stamping. So we're just doing another simple snowflake. I'm using my silver stamping polish this time, and we're going to stamp on the center or the first layer of the snowflake. So I've picked that up, and then I'm going to look through my stamper and place this down, and I'm kind of taking note of what the image looks like so that I know on the second layer how to line that up. So if you look, one of the segments of the snowflake is a little bit smaller than all of the others, so that will be the same on the second layer. So I'm going to use that as my guide point for my layer. So when I pick this one up, I'm going to take my lint roller and remove all the excess as normal, and then again you can see that one of those segments is just ever so slightly smaller, so I know that that's the one that's going to line up with the smallest image on the first layer. And then once I've took my time, lined that up, I'm simply going to press down, quick rock backwards and forwards just to make sure it's transferred nicely, and then I'm going to lift off. And I was really impressed with how this layered. I don't do lots of layered stamping, but I have used this plate a few times, so I've got the hang of this particular image. Sometimes when it comes to layered stamping, it takes me ages to get a good layer. So we're going to do the same again, but this time I want the snowflake to come slightly off the edge of the nail, just so the nail looks a little bit more full without fully covering it up, if that makes sense. So again, picking up that first layer and making note to find where that smaller segment of the snowflake is. So you can see on this one, it's kind of the second segment in. So then I'm going to clean off my plate. I'm cleaning off my plate all the time using some some acetone and just a lint-free pad, just to make sure it's nice and clean. You want to make sure you're cleaning off your plate after each stamp. Then we're going to apply a stamping polish, scrape to remove the excess, quick flick of the wrist to pick up that image. And then I always like to remove my excess using a lint roller. And then I'm just going to look through my stamper. That's what I'm doing here. I'm just looking through and finding that smallest segment. And then I'm going to line it up with the smallest segment we've already got stamped. Press down and then rock from side to side and pull off. And as you can see, again, it layered up beautifully. I love this snowflake. It's one of my favorite snowflake images. So this is what the nails look like now that we've finished all of the design. I really, really loved them. I weren't sure at first if the marble worked with the snowflakes, but I went with it anyway. So we're ready to come in and top coat. I'm top coating today using my Kiki London No Wipe rubber top coat. Opted for the rubber top coat because I want to add on some crystals into the center of my snowflakes, and the rubber top coat is great for applying your crystals. So if you're applying crystals into your top coat, what you want to do is apply your top coat as normal, but apply your crystals before popping it in to cure. So I'm going to apply a thin layer of the rubber top coat to all of the nails. Now I use the rubber top coat a lot. It is my favorite top coat. One, when I'm using it on my own nails, it's brilliant because it's a rubber top coat. It provides extra strength to your nails. Two, I find that it seals in any kind of nail art amazingly. It gives you a super smooth surface, and it just makes sure that anything like your stamping, your foils, water decals are fully encapsulated in. So once I've finished applying that top coat, I'm going to grab my crystals. I'm using the Crystal AB crystals from Kiki London. So I'm just going to pop these out into a little dish. And then I'm going to take my Kiki London gem tool and I'm just going to pick out some small ones to go in the center of the snowflakes, just because I really like doing this now since one of my subscribers suggested it on my channel. I think it really finishes off a snowflake design. So I'm just going to pop these down, like I said, in the center of all of the snowflakes. That's on all three of the nails. And then once they are in place and you're happy with how they're positioned, you're going to pop this in to cure for 60 seconds. And then that, guys, is the end of the design. These were a pretty simple, beginner friendly design to do, so I hope you all enjoyed doing it, and I hope you picked up some tips on foil application, because I get a lot of questions on this. But if you would like a more detailed foil application video, do let me know in the comments below and I can see what I can do. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment below, and if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would absolutely love it if you did. I hope you're all having a wonderful January so far. Lots of love, take care, and hopefully I shall see you all again in the next video. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye bye.